Latin is dead to me. And I would like to start off by defining what dead to me means. According to Urban Dictionary, which is the superior dictionary of the internet, the expression of such distaste for a person or object that it calls for the personal denial of its worldly existence can be used to express disinterest, hatred, or something/someone that has gone out of style. And of course, this is from Urban Dictionary, so take that with a grain of salt. My speech today is not a rant about the Latin language. I actually really love the language a lot. Rather, it's a certain mini revelation I had while taking Latin classes. It starts off, like all good stories do, with my love for the language and how that love sort of transformed into a deep hate for it. And then, of course, it goes into what I proved or didn't prove to myself while thinking about a certain resolution I had about the class. And the end sort of ends with a question mark, as I don't think I've properly reached a conclusion about this yet, but you'll see as I continue to speak about it. My love for the language started in schedule registration period in 8th grade when we were signing up for classes. In 8th grade, when you're signing up for classes in 9th grade, you don't get a lot of choice in what you get to pick. You get to pick about 2 classes, then the required classes that you have to take. Usually everyone picks a language that they take their first year, and like everyone, I also picked a language. I picked Latin mostly for 2 reasons. One was that my friends were taking it, so I was very enthused to take it. I was like, yes, I'm going to take it with my friends. And of course, the second reason was that I didn't want to take Spanish because my dad told me to take Spanish, and I wanted to prove him wrong and say, no, I've made a decision for myself that's different than your decision. I was in sort of a rebellious phase. In 9th grade, Latin was great. It was fun, it was very chill. Our teacher was this very sweet, bubbly lady, and even though our class went by pretty slow, it was very engaging. In 10th grade and 11th grade and 12th grade, I had a different teacher. She was very breviloquent and she was pretty, I would say, assertive. She moved the class along at a pretty fast pace, but I liked that. I liked learning a lot more things than we did in 9th grade. And of course, that's all what high school is. You know, every grade you go up, you learn more things. She taught us a lot about Rome and the Romans and Italy now. And she was very, very passionate. She had this energy that sort of extended outward and spread to the whole classroom. However, in 11th grade, what happened was my 60-person class that was spread out over 2 sections was reduced to a 30-person class that was split into 2 sections. What this did was it made a very small 15-person class, and I felt like my teacher's energy couldn't be contained to that room. You see, she was someone who made an environment by cracking a lot of jokes, which is totally fine. We all love jokes. Jokes make humor, and humor is great. However, her jokes were usually on students, which is again fine in a 30-person class because, you know, occasionally you have a joke on yourself. It's fine. You laugh it off, you shrug it off. However, in a 15-person class, I think it was sort of uncomfortable when she made a joke, not only for her, but for us too. And I would say as the semester progressed along, a lot of those jokes were on me. It wasn't like she had anything against me. I wasn't a bad student or anything. It was just that I generally don't mind jokes. I'm a pretty out there person in class. Usually I'm pretty active. I participate a lot. So it was just easy. I mean, I'm saying the most things. It's easy for her to land on a joke on me. Again, it was fine. However, in a 15% class, it started to get a little claustrophobic. I wouldn't say, however, that this is when my hate for Latin started. I would say, however, that in Latin, there was this one word we learned. It's called passus. Essentially, what passus means is to suffer. However, after hearing the word passus, you're probably like, that reminds me of the word passion. And that's because it does. Essentially, the etymology of the word is that what you suffer for is supposed to be your passion. However, by 12th grade, I really felt like Latin wasn't really my passion. It was just something I was suffering in. In 12th grade, there were only 12 people in my class. And at that point, the class was just getting smaller and smaller. And I could really feel that I myself was changing as a student. I just stopped participating as much. I became very passive. I didn't talk at all. I sat in the farthest corner of the class. I just didn't want the attention on me. And I guess the turning point was when I had a friend in the class, and finally she dropped out of the class 1 month into the semester, and I didn't really know what else to do. I didn't really know. I guess another problem was that my disdain for the class itself was seeping into my love for the language. I remember there was this one time someone asked me, "Oh, Mahathi, you're taking Latin. How is that? Do you like it?" Generally, what I would have said is, "Yes, I love taking Latin. Latin is an amazing language. It's helpful. I learn a lot of vocabulary, grammar, etc." However, when that person asked me, "Mahathi, why do you take Latin?" I said something along the lines of, "Oh, I don't really know why I take it. I guess I just sort of signed up for it and I'm just in the class." That sort of flipped a switch on for me. I realized, why am I even taking this class? I wanted to spend my senior year taking classes that I really did want to take. It was the only year throughout high school that I had the choice to take 7 classes that were all electives. I could take whatever I wanted. And I had decided I was going to take classes that I really loved. It was my last year of high school. So I sort of reached a decisions crossroad. And at that crossroad, there were two sides to this, right? The first side was it my pride getting in the way? Was it my ego getting in the way? I couldn't even take a simple joke. And I was supposed to take this class for 4 years, and I was quitting it now, 1 month into the fourth year of taking it. I wasn't really sure. It was almost as if I was making an inconsequential, consequential decision. This wasn't something that was deciding the rest of my life or something ridiculous like that. However, it really was a decision that I was uncomfortable with. And I hadn't really made uncomfortable decisions until that point. I would have to go tell my teacher, "Hey, I'm dropping out of the class," which is very uncomfortable. And then, of course, I'd have to walk around the school, and every time I saw her, it would just be super awkward. However, at the end, I did end up dropping out of the class. And sort of what I proved, or maybe didn't prove to myself by doing that, is that I really put confidence in myself to make the right decision. After making that decision, I didn't ponder on it too much. I felt after I made that decision, if I pondered on it too much, I was just going back and doubting myself on making and doubting my decision making skills. I sort of ended with a big question mark, though. I didn't know if Latin was something I would ever pursue again. I mean, one experience shouldn't stop me from taking a language that I love so much. Hence, I'm going to modify what Latin is dead to me really means. It's not an utter distaste for the language. It's not a disinterest or hatred, or even though it is a dead language, it's not something that has gone out of style for me. However, maybe it was just a denial of its worldly existence. There was just a period of time when I chose to forget that Latin didn't exist. And maybe at one time it'll be revived again. And of course, I don't mean the language itself, but my interest in it. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.